Ever since I was a young boy, I always thought that title screen and logo was so cool. I'm kind of finding out that between Gradius being one of my first games and this being one of my first games, this might be one of the reasons why I like shmups so much. And also, this game's pretty metal. It's a pretty gory logo. Just looks like some kind of crazy death metal band logo with that mixture of meat and metal. That explains a lot. Off to a rough start, mainly because I missed that speed power-up. That's a very critical power-up, because you move slow as molasses in this game. But that's alright. We're kind of reliving what it was like for me to play this when I had to have been 5 or 6. 5 going on 6. And that's sort of how the cookie crumbled back then. Because, you're a kid. You're dumb. You don't know how to adapt to situations or implement strategies. Alright, I really needed that kind of option power-up that I missed, but we'll do what we can with what we've got. At least we got 2 there. You can get up to 4 of those, and they help clear away projectiles that are coming at you, which is super helpful. That's not how you spell shmup, Rick. My good friend, thank you for joining. Welcome. That's what I get for looking at the chat. You can always tell if a person plays shmups or not by whether or not they put a C in the word. And let's face it, shmup is a dirty word. It's an STG or a shooting game or a shoot 'em up. The problem is that when first-person shooters became popular, thanks to awesome things and very important things like Doom and Wolfenstein, shoot 'em up took over, and people started using that term to describe first-person shooters, and the real shoot 'em ups, not to be confused with run and guns, got kind of left in the dust, which was a bummer. Alright. So yeah, as a kid who had rented this game, I knew that there was more to this game than just this intro level where you're flying outside of the alien entity that has enveloped this planet, but I never got to see what came after. And we are going to see that tonight, because I was able to get to the 3rd stage when I had everything set up and the game cleaned originally. So knock on wood, things are much more stable now. We're not getting a video art performance. Alright, let's fight this demon dog gatekeeper. You basically just have to go in sort of a figure 8 or infinity symbol pattern. And what you really need to watch out for is that one tiny fast shot that the parasite on his back likes to throw out at you. And rinse and repeat, and try and make sure your spread gun. Let's see if I can get these a little closer. Oh, bummer. You want to make sure your spread gun, that 3rd kind of bottom bubble, is hitting him. The one thing I will absolutely never get tired of hearing, though, is the awesome music in this game. And the enemy and creature design in this game is pretty good too, except I'm going to go ahead and say that the space pterodactyls feel a little phoned in. When you have these flaming skulls and gross eyeball things and chomping teeth, the pterodactyls just feel a little out of place. Let's try a new strategy. Let's try getting these guys these little options around me wiggly to hopefully wipe away more of the bullets. So it's cool. You've got B for shot and A to control the distance, the radius, if you will, of your protective barrier. Gotta get in the zone, gotta focus. Now the one thing that's disappointing is this was not the best run, so I lost a couple of lives already. But I don't remember what the threshold is for a 1-up. Maybe we'll get lucky. But man, like I was saying during the intro, my dad was all about horror movies, gross things, sci-fi, and I remember he and I had, bogus, our rental NES hooked up. I'm just going to crash and we're going to start over. We had it hooked up to this old Zenith TV in our kitchen, which had giant, clicky dials and rabbit ears and everything. It was encased in sort of a fake wood veneer. I loved that TV. That TV was wonderful. Wish I still had it. Plugged the NES in over RF, and we just played the same stage over and over and over and over again. And it was not that frustrating because we were super excited at the novelty of having this dream machine plugged into our goofy TV. I really like the details, like how his legs kick when he fires from the momentum of his shot. Yeah, made a bad situation for myself there by being a little too timid. This is a game that actually will reward you for playing a little bit more aggressively. And of course, like any 8-bit shmup, pattern recognition is key. And killing those little eyeball guys is actually pretty important. Those guys really just litter the screen with debris. They make it very hard to navigate this, what should be a pretty simple, straightforward area like that. That's what we're talking about. Also, if I touch the ground, I will die instantly, so we want to avoid that as much as possible. There are a lot of areas in this game that are arguably pretty cheap because you have to go through these incredibly narrow paths as you're descending into this creature. And it's not super duper easy to tell where your hitbox is, and how far can I graze into this wall before the game is going to say, oh, nope, you're dead. Try again. Ground touch death is a very naughty thing, and the designer or developer who suggested it as a good idea is a bad person. Here we go. I said it earlier, I was like, I'm gonna jinx myself. Of course, when I popped this game earlier, it was a piece of cake. Takes a lot to try and talk and play a game like this at the same time, and so it's interesting to try to find that balance where you don't want to just be yakking the whole time. You also don't want to just be focusing on playing the game so much that you don't have anything interesting to say. Oh no, it's getting haunted, boys. That is very bad. That is a very bad thing. I cleaned the hell out of this game. Oh no. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it is not my night for haunted games. Just hold on a little longer. I just want to kill this boss. I just want him to die. I want him to die so bad. It's just getting harder and harder to tell what's happening. And man, this guy takes a lot of hits. We're gonna do it. I don't care. I don't care what happens. We're gonna do it. Alright, he's dead. Let's leave this haunted place. Hello, welcome to glitchy hell zone. Oh man, I can't tell what's ceiling and what isn't. And let's pause for a minute. It looks like bad guys are coming up behind me and are about to hit me. But I would like to just point out that the repeated background throughout all of this is the sprite from the intro, where you get that kind of shot of the alien planet parasite thing off in the distance. And that's kind of funny. I might screen cap this later and make this the background of my laptop for a little bit. So I have a feeling that this is quickly going to turn into something unplayable. For the sake of you kind viewers who are hanging out, we'll give this one more go, and if it crashes, I've got another game on deck we can pop in that I was planning on saving for next week, but this is the risk that you take when you are playing on authentic hardware, which, by the way, this is an old-ass regular toaster Nintendo Entertainment System plugged into a FrameMeister, plugged into an Elgato Game Capture HD. So, as much as I like being able to stream legit games off of legit hardware, there's something to be said about playing a backup copy with software. What I really need is, and I'm probably going to pick one of these up very soon now because of issues like this, in case it isn't just the condition of the game's pins, but what I really need is that blinking light win, which allegedly works really well and does its job. I think I've shared that in our Slack before, but for anyone else who is not a part of that and is watching, there is an individual who goes by the name, I think it's ArcadeWorks, known for a consoleized Neo Geo MVS system that is in molded plastic, and the design looks a lot closer to the original Neo Geo AES than Analog's wooden Neo Geo does, which is still a really cool looking product. ArcadeWorks makes this thing called Blinking Light Win, kind of an awkward name, but it is a replacement for your NES's pin connection. And instead of popping in a game and then having to press it down the way you do in this toaster setup, it replaces that with a much sturdier, much more reliable, and easier to clean connection that I don't know. You can look up however they market it on their site if you Google it, but I think it has better quality pin connections, etc., etc. My other option would be to get a top loader. If I'm not mistaken, the top loaders are pretty reliable. Maybe I'll look into that, but I'll be honest, this is my childhood NES. This show is about tracing the history of my relationship with video games, and it's kind of interesting to relive the frustration and disappointment of hardware like this freaking the fuck out. I'm going to unpause this game. Enough talk. Let's see how far we can get through this hellscape of glitches and nonsense before I reset for a final time. You guys ready? Let's do this. I'm pretty sure I'm like a frame away from death. Ooh, all right, I snuck through that. Oh, great. So we got to navigate these teeth. I wish you guys could see what this is supposed to look like, because it's very similar to a segment in the Konami shmup Salamander, which we got in North America as Life Force. And the funny thing about Salamander is it's part of the Gradius series. Oh, God. Okay. I was trying to get those missiles and I hit something. I have no idea what's happening. So yeah, Salamander. Originally, Salamander didn't have much to do with being swallowed by a creature, but they changed that when they localized the game, if I'm not mistaken. Logan is our resident 8-bit game expert, so he can correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, the Salamander series turned into kind of being about flying inside of a giant organism, and it has a similar biomechanical aesthetic. So this is the game over screen, and it's really interesting. I kind of wonder what is going on when glitches like this happen, because it looks like we're sort of seeing into different tiles and patterns and things that I don't know, the game is supposed to process and put up on the screen in a certain order, and it's being read out of order or something. I don't really know. What I do know is I've got my Q-tips, I've got my rubbing alcohol. I'm not going to blow it. Don't worry, brothers. But I'm going to pop this out. This is hilarious. Let's highlight the fact that this game knows it's pretty hard, and so it has a continue. And I'm not going to pop this out. Let's see if we can make it through this shitty area one more time. Alright, I'm popping it out. I take back what I said.